All right, good evening, everyone. Ron, it is June the 8th, Monday, June the 8th, a little after 6 p.m. Let's see if we have any questions. On yesterday, we talked about the young man that was shot in the back and how that made us feel, and we talked about distractions too, although that was a tragedy, of course. How we respond to things and who we are, how we look at things is important. So that's sort of where it went yesterday. And in short, us staying focused and recognizing who we are and what the task is at hand. So are there any other follow-up questions or anything about that? Excuse me. Anyone? Okay. Uh, if there are no questions about that, Pastor had somewhere he wanted to take us today, something he wanted to discuss. I say he just stepped away for a minute. So if you would, please, oh, there he is. Good. Uh, Pastor, we do not have any questions or follow up on yesterday. Do you have any follow up on yesterday before you go in a different direction? Are you on mute?
Okay. No, I don't have any follow-ups from yesterday. However, I've had some experiences that I want to share.
Okay.
And my experiences are deal primarily with who I have become, who I am, always have been, and becoming more aware of it. But before I begin to talk about it, I want us to understand something. If we don't get anything else, and that is ego, ego and self-centeredness is the adversary of truth. There is no possibility to be a purveyor of truth if you are not able to get beyond your ego and thinking more of yourself than you should. Um, the other thing I want to mention at this moment is that I was I have been going through something for the last 24 hours, and I have been shown different things during that period of time. And I was not even looking for this. However, I I looked at the scripture, and the one that talks about that we are to replenish the earth, and I wanted to know what that means. And I know what it means now, but I want to deal with some other instances, some other things before I get to it. Um, there is something called the ancient rights of truth. And you've heard me talk about my desire to have the mindset of the Memphite priesthood or the Kemetic priests. And I jotted down some things of my experiences and as I traveled last night. I had the opportunity, the pleasure of traveling through the catacombs of ancient Kemet, and doing my travels through these galleries of truth and wisdom, I experienced something that I have never experienced in my life, and that is the essence of my soul being initiated into a rite of passage that I had not experienced. And I know that it was not in this terrestrial body of Earth or its atmosphere. My experience was truly celestial. And regardless of what you may perceive or what you feel about this, this is not my truth. This is the truth. And during this travel, I was shown things, and I begun to understand life, light, truth, and I was shown the illusion of death, darkness, and sin. What I was shown during that journey is that the only thing that's real is life, light, and truth. Everything else is illusionary. Death is an illusion because nothing ever dies. Nothing ever ceases to be. The only way that you can ever experience death is to be mentally, spiritually separated from your Creator. And that death is not the exiting of your body. That death are the trials that you go through in this earth. When you get passed over for promotion, that's a death. When there is someone who you have an aversion for and you feel some kind of way about them when you are in their presence and when you see them, that is a death that you're dying. As long as you are experiencing these aversions for people or you're feeling some kind of way because you got passed over, you're not walking in this earth as the divine being that you were created to be. And this idea, this concept of darkness is actually in our mindset a place of chaos, but there is no such thing as chaos. In the reality of everything that is, chaos doesn't exist. The things that we perceive to be chaos, the things that we perceive to be chaos is actually wisdom that we are ignorant of or that we simply don't understand. Even the adversity that we are facing now is really not an adversity of chaos as much as it is a reality of a wisdom, a type of wisdom that we don't quite understand. And what I mean by that is the wisdom is found in the necessity for these things to happen in order for those who present themselves as adversaries to find their way to the light. And those who are in need of finding their way to the light are not just Europeans. It is also those who look like us who have the mindset of the European, struggling to get to the light. The church has told us that we are sinners saved by grace. We are entangled beings saved by grace. That is not true. If it were not for entanglements, would we ever know what it means or what the experience of peace is if we were not faced with this illusion of entanglements? If you really think about it, whether it's death, darkness, or sin, all of these things are processed through our minds. And while I was there, I was able to see the processing of these things in our minds. There was nothing spiritual about death, what we call darkness or sin. The gate through which I passed has a gatekeeper. And that gatekeeper is the priest of antiquity. And there are only a few who are granted permission to travel through that gate. The concept of a flaming sword is real. It's not there for destruction, but protection. If you were to enter the gate without permission, you would cease to be. And that is the reason there is a gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper is the only one who can grant you permission to enter that gate. All of us have talked about our desire to walk in the divinity that we are. But do we know what that looks like? There are those of you who come with the same questions, the same issues all of the time, seemingly. And at one time I wondered if there was any growth at all. But during this journey, I was shown something, and that is there are aspects of divinity that we are not familiar with, because we have been told that these things, these questions, these incidents are things that we need to grow out of. But what I was shown about those of us who gather here is that the reason you bring the same questions, to have the same issues, is because they are not your questions and they are not your issues. You are the divine essence through which the questions and the agonies of humanity passes through in order for us to be able to put the solutions in the macro. It doesn't mean that you're not walking in your divine essence simply because you seemingly is not getting what you're being taught. It's simply that you are a divine conduit for those who have no desire to know who they are. And in spite of their resistance, you have been brought into the fold to stand in their place and to bear the brunt of whatever they are experiencing, so that you can truly be a deliverer. It's not easy to have a desire. Well, maybe it is easy to have a desire to know who you are. But the wage, the price that you pay for that, to know who you are and to understand the essence of your being, means that you have to exchange this narrow-mindedness of humanity and this ignorance of what's real in order for you to understand or embrace the depth, the scope of what divinity actually is. And in doing that, it's painful because there are times when others seemingly are at peace with themselves, but you're not. Nights go by when sleep is not your friend. And even when it is your friend, what you see and what you experience is not all the times peaceful or pretty or desirable. Yet, it is imperative to embrace it, because our judgment about what is desirable, what is peaceful, and what is beautiful has been tainted. It's been tainted because from us has been hidden the essence of who we are. And we have grown so comfortable in that until now, when we talk about being godly or being who we are, it's simply just words. We're so comfortable. We're so comfortable. So many of us are too comfortable to even desire to be initiated into this realm of celestial truth. It is not something that you wake up in the morning and decide that you're going to do to see what it's like. The experience is not like that at all. It is something that you desire to the extent that you would rather have death than not have the experience of this divine nature of truth and tranquility, this thing that the ancients were very much familiar with, that brought peace to the earth. This earth, the inhabitants of this earth, is so aware of so many different things. And there are millions of secrets, things that are hidden from us. But the secrets of this world are secrets that breed death and destruction, sorrow and selfishness, greed, lust, and all of those things that beset us or separate us from who we are. But when you travel through the catacombs of truth and wisdom, there's only one secret. And that one secret is greater than the millions of secrets of this earth. That one secret is the revelation or the revealing of the source itself. And the source is not something that's seen, that can be painted in a portrait. It is an experience of a type of light and presence that's beyond description. And in the midst of this source, there is a freedom from all the distasteful things that you have experienced in this earth. There is a sense of freedom that allows us to see what life, light, and truth actually is. When we mention light, life, and truth, those are separate words, but they are not separate entities. They are the source itself. The source is light and life and truth. And we are the offsprings of that source, and that source has given us the divine power to bring into existence beings who have bodies that we occupy, the bodies just like our bodies, yet we have relegated ourselves to believing that we are these humans, that we are these bodies. Those who came from our womb are not us. They are physical beings who had breath in their bodies that we gave them. And it is incumbent upon us to understand that all of the people, the humans that have come from us, was allowed to come into being through us so that we could be a physical manifestation of divinity in this terrestrial place of earth. And we have gone beyond approaching the time for the wisdom, the secret wisdom of the ancient ones to be heard again in the earth. It is time for the voices of those who died in silence and those who died because of their convictions. It's time for their wisdom, their voices to be heard again. It's time for the ancient secrets of antiquity to be dominant in the earth, to dominate religion and politics and policies that enslave humanity, the bondage of humanity, the freedom of humanity is on us. We can choose whether or not we are going to continue to embrace this pseudo belief that we are spiritual and continue in this thing of religion that is hidden behind our pseudo beliefs about being spiritual, or we can be real with ourselves and lay ourselves bare in the presence of the ancient ones with a desire to be molded into whatever is necessary for humanity to be delivered. The dogma of religion is dead. But the voices of the Tower of Babel have been silenced now. And the voices of religion are the voices of the Tower of Babel, and they have been silenced now. The pestilence in the land, though it was a manufactured thing, the ancient ones allowed this manufacture of this thing, this disease, to come into being, into the midst of humans, in order to silence the voices that were separating humans from their real essence, separating us, the divine ones, from our divinity. It is religion that was doing this, and this disease, this pestilence of COVID, silenced the voices that were seeking to reach the heights of spiritual manifestation based upon its own desires and methods. Where we are now is at a place where the spiritual unfolding of mankind, of humanity, and when I say mankind, I'm talking about the kind of man that we were created to be. I'm not talking about the ones who came from us. We have to get it straight before we can deal with the ones we birthed. This unfolded nature of ours is just as real as any science is real. It's just as true as any mathematical equation. The very God that was enchained and pronounced dead and called ignorant and treated as though it was the most degrading thing in the earth has risen from that space of death. And the rising of that is no different than the phoenix that rises from the ashes, because the phoenix dies to itself. And in the time of ripeness, it rises again. It raises itself from the ashes of its own self in order to be what it was created to be, meaning that the day comes when we die to self And when we die to self, this is not a church thing. This is a death of the mind and a resurrection of the soul, so that the mind is transformed by that resurrected soul for the benefit of those who we birth into the earth. And we have been a disservice to them because we have allowed them to run rampant without being brought into check. And now that we have chosen to do this, now that we have chosen to do this, we must be willing to endure whatever agonies that are necessary for us to be who we are supposed to be. This journey is not without pain, it's not without sorrow. And I would also say that it is not without regret at times. Yet, all of these obstacles that I just mentioned are simply that. They are obstacles that have become distractions, and distractions are what keep humanity in bondage in the face, in the space, in the presence of their gods. The truths that the source has shown us are truths that we take for granted. We look at the scriptures and when we look at them and we begin to see things in the scriptures, we see them differently than what we saw in church. Yet we treat them like they are religious principles when they really, really aren't. How is it that the cosmic mother can give birth and remain a virgin? How is that possible? How can that be a truth? The only reason it is difficult for us to embrace it as a truth is because the truth of birth with us is a material thing, but a spiritual birth is totally different. There was no seed needed in order for the cosmic mother, for femininity to birth humanity, to bring these physical bodies into being. There was no need for a seed. The creation of femininity was created with everything it was to birth already in it, meaning that femininity was pregnant from the beginning, and that is the reason that beginning was able to create, to bring into reality Elohim, many gods, because the womb of beginning is the womb of the cosmic mother, and the womb of the cosmic mother was impregnated by the source before the source even considered bringing it into existence. And this is the truth of the virginity of the one who birthed everything but yet remains a virgin. And we have been so confused because we have been taught that these principles are principles that's carried out by humans as opposed to gods. No human could possibly endure what we as a people have endured. Yes, they've cannibalized our bodies, but they can't cannibalize our souls. The ignorance, the barbaric nature caused them to believe that if they were to eat us, if they were to abuse us, it would make them gods. If they were to present images to us, it would make them gods. This is no different than the Greeks who sat on a throne and forced the priesthood in Memphis to consider them as God. You can force someone to call you a god or even treat you as a god, but it doesn't make you a god. And those who are God, who allow this to happen, has done a disservice to their creation. Here we are. We are at the point of Genesis now. We are at the place where the Creator says to us that we are to do what? Replenish the earth. We are to replenish and subdue. We are to restore this earth to what it was before it became masculine dominated. Before masculinity dominated the earth, there was peace and there was an order. And that order preceded the invasion of the barbarians that came from our womb. Look at it. Even in your Genesis story, you can see the shift from femininity to masculinity. Look at the story, male and female, until you get to the garden. And then you begin to see a shift. The shift comes when the femininity is accused of being the perpetrator of what is called the fall. Men shift from the right side of the brain to the left. In other words, they shift the narrative of deliverance from femininity to masculinity. And this redemption, this replenishing is about restoration. And restoration does not come until we begin to embrace the right hemisphere of our brain, the femininity of who we are. Why? Because of the creativity that is there. There is no creating without a womb. It is time for us to disallow truth to be manipulated any longer. And that comes when we activate, truly activate the feminine essence of who we are. And you say, how? And I say, this is what I was shown. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come unto you. Why? That where I am, so you can also be, meaning that I will come to you. What is the I that comes to you? I will remind you of who you are. The day will come when those who die to self will become a reminder to those who are seeking to die to self, a reminder of what it takes, a reminder of the pathway that guides us, that leads us to the place of divinity, of understanding, rather, embracing divinity itself. I am. I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. It simply means that there is a mediator between the human us and the source itself, and that mediator is desire. It is not a man called Jesus, non-existent. It is the soul that desires to be who it was created to be. And that soul begins to mediate between the human mind and the consciousness of divinity in order for us to begin to see that the light that we have been told exists doesn't exist. It is a Luciferian truth that has no light in it at all. And that is what Ezekiel was talking about when he talked about the angels being cast out of enlightenment. It means that those who had a Luciferian truth have been separated from the truth itself. And that truth of the Luciferian has permeated and impregnated the minds of those in this earth. And it is up to us to free them from the shackles of a pseudo-truth so that truth itself can become the light that they are able to become one with. When we talk about something coming to us, where does it come from? It comes from the ancestral minds or the ancestral souls or the ancestral understandings of Akashic consciousness. There is a consciousness that exists that is beyond any consciousness that man could ever dream of. The truth is, if the Akabalion does not bring deliverance to the inhabitants of this terrestrial site, deliverance will never come to this site, because the source has said, you replenish the earth, because it has devolved into something that it was not to be. It devolved into that. You are the one to replenish it. You are the one to govern it. You are the government of this terrestrial ball called Earth. Your source of light, there is a reminder to you that light is always with you and that light is always available to you, and that the nutrients of that light is always there, feeding you even when you're not aware of it. And that light, that reminder of that light is that thing that we call the sun. But keep in mind, the sun that we see is simply a mirror of the celestial sun that is unseen, which means that there is a divine power of source that is reflected in this sun that we see. And it is a reminder to us that nothing truly dies. Those things that appear to die always resurrects in the morning. No different than the rising sun in the morning mimicking the birth, and the noonday sun, the maturity of light itself, and the evening sun is a resting of the soul, readying it for its journey for the next rising of the sun. What does all of this mean? I have taken a journey, not on a train or a plane, but one of a spiritual nature. And I traveled on the rivers of light. And there were no voices, but there were experiences talking to me. And what I have shared with you in the last few minutes are but a part of the words that I experienced. This experience, this journey, can also be your journey. The question is, how deep is your desire? How strong is your urge? How much are you willing to forsake in order for you to have this experience of traveling through a temple that is unseen, entering rooms that are pure light, and gliding up stairways that have no steps, and passing through rooms that are simply the souls of the ancestors who have traveled this way before us. In this presence, seeking to guide us to be in this earth as they are in the celestial realm of enlightenment. I don't know whether there are questions. I don't know if there are answers to questions. But I do know this. We must have a desire beyond any other desire if we are to have this experience. Am I saying that you not having this experience will not be a divine being? No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. I am saying that you are a divine being. And that is why you are the conduit, as I said earlier, for the issues that humanity is dealing with. But I am in a different place than what I was yesterday or the day before. I can't say where you are. I can't even articulate the totality of the experience itself. I can't even articulate to you right now what I am experiencing. But I can do this. I do have the authority to release the energy that I gathered while traveling through this realm so that the energy, the resonance, the frequencies that flowed through my being as I traveled this journey can become who you are, part of you at least. You have that experience of the presence of this energy, this frequency, this resonance, this light. And I readily release that to you right now, that you may have that experience. I recognize that I was chosen to do what I do from birth. I recognize that. But I also recognize that you are chosen as well. You, the 12, you have become one as I have become one. Do not be shocked at what you will see, what you will say, and what you will experience. Because those of you who have given all in order to see something that is invisible, to experience something that is not physical, to see with your eyes closed, and to give the breath of life to generations of humans who have never experienced life itself. To that, all I can say is, my Ashe is released to you. If there are comments, if there are expressions, if there are questions, whatever it may be that you feel the need to utter, please do it now.
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I say Hotep to you all. And Hotep is simply in the Kabylonian language speaks about to be at peace. And it means I come in peace. So tonight, Pastor, as you released the energy to us, I receive it. I say to all this evening that, it's just been an honor to have received from our spiritual family all that has prepared us for this moment. We are at the threshold. We are at the point where we can enter into our beginning, realizing that, again, as we appreciate the teachings that's coming forth, the teacher of the mysteries has spoken and continuing to speak as we now grasp it in the spirit of I am the universe. I am divine. And it's, as Pastor said, it's not just words. Some of us have experienced the celestial being of the gift of the cosmos that's ministering and speaking to us as Pastor talked about the light. He talked about the heat. He talked about the sound of the sun rays, the radio waves, the brain waves, all of whom we are created to be, that we're experiencing in ways that I'm truly grateful to see that manifestation. As we talk about the sun gives light, the sun gives heat, and the sun gives sound. What frequencies are we experiencing from the light? What heat are we experiencing when the heat comes on us and we feel it in a different degree that's much hotter or much a way of communicating with us that make us appreciate what it means to be in that experience. So again, as I think of just being present tonight, the teacher of the mysteries are with us, for us, and guiding us. And so again, I just say Hotep, and it speaks about, again, peace and order. But I know that our foundation is with the essence of the Acabelonian, is with the foundation of our spiritual principles. And there's one I just like to share tonight that says, I will not turn away from the words of truth. Well, I just wanted to share those thoughts as Pastor's given us the opportunity to speak. Thank you for letting me share, everyone. Hotep.
Ashe. Anyone else? We will begin to see the understanding of the mysteries that's in the scriptures in a different way than what they have been so far. We will see. The truth in a greater depth than ever before. To you, I grant you the opportunity again to speak your piece, to raise your questions. Does this resonate with you?
Ashe.
Thank you, Charles.
And another thing, I say that, Pastor, because I said once before, you was here to teach us all the truth and every insight of all that the ancestors have given you. And I thank you for all of us being in your presence to receive it.
Thank you, Charles.
And I don't know which way we're going, how we might get there, but I know through your guidance, we'll all understand.
My desire, beyond being the mind of the committed priesthood, is that the voice that the ancestors has given me would be a voice that resonates with you. it's important that the words that are spoken resonate. If they don't, there has to be questions. So I ask you again, has this resonated with you? And that is not rhetorical.
Yes.
Yes.
It has.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I am done. I am done.
Thank you. Well, that is it. Everybody have a great week, and look forward to seeing you Saturday. Listen to it again, and let's see if we have questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your energy.
Thank you.
Take care,
Thank
family.
you.
Shalom.
One.
Thank you all. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.